It's silent in dismay. It won't break this feeling down. If I conquer this my way, I'd devour, I'd surround. If it hurts you just a little, then it heals you when it's done. Disappointment is the anchor, resolution is the sun. If it's silent in dismay, it won't break this feeling down. If I conquer this my way, I'd devour, I'd surround. If it hurts you just a little, then it heals you when it's done. Disappointment is the anchor, resolution is the sun.
Okay, hopefully this works now. Hello everyone, how are we going? Apparently my computer likes turning my microphone off. So hopefully everyone's doing well. We are waiting on two drivers, Arby and Quaker. So we are at Japan today, just like the real Formula One was earlier on in the day, and hoping, without hope, that we don't receive any rain today, because the last couple of weeks we've had rain, and it's Reaper back in the box today. G-Dan is actually racing. We have 1 minute till start. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are off. Hopefully we have a more entertaining race than what Formula One provided us in the early hours of this morning. Hi, girl. So, good luck, everyone. Let's have a nice clean race today. Okay, so qualifying looks like it's going to be a dry race. Okay, so let's get everything up. So, who is going to be the first out on track to give us a first flying lap across the line today? Definitely looks like we got sun right now. I'm not quite sure. What sort of times we're going to do? I'm not quite sure what the weather's going to do for the actual race either. There we go. So Dan and Zen are coming out on Inters. Oh God, they're doing a Harry on me. So it looks like we got Bin Dipper and Zazu are going to be the first two out to show us some times. We've got a few more coming out as well. Looks like another Haas, the McLaren. We've got Williams coming out as well. Aston Martin, one of the Mercedes is coming out on Inter. Oh, Jesus Christ. Of course it's going to be on Inters. So, coming through the final few corners, Bin is going to be the first one to set a time here. He's going to be doing it on the mediums. So, let's see what he can set. And Zazu is not too far behind him as well. Comes through the first couple of corners nice and easily. Here comes the S section, which can be very, very tricky if you don't get your setups like just spot on. But Bin seems to have got that all right. Someone's gone round. It looks like it's an Aston Martin. No, he just slowed down. And to give himself a bit of a gap to the... Ooh! Rear end slide from Bin there. Looks like Zazu's going to be picking up the draft from him. It's like coming through sector 2 here. One thing the new game should allow you to do if you're in spectator mode is allow you to have the helicopter view. Oh, it looks like Bin pulls out of that. So we'll jump onto Zazu because he's going to be the first across the line now. He's going to be the one setting the pace. Really attacking that chicane. Coming through the final corner, crosses the line and sets a 1:28.386. There's a respectable time. Bin setting a 1:34, but he did pull out of the his lap. So here comes his teammate Machiavelli, also attacking that chicane quite aggressively. Lucky enough, still keeps the car facing forward. Crosses the line, does a 1:29.5. Next across the line is Harry, who goes on a 1:28.0. Zazu, not a million miles away. Where is Mingo? Mingo coming through, sets also a 1:28.0. Wow, less than 500ths of a second between these two here. So this is going to be an interesting qualifying, isn't it? So where's Lippmann? He's coming through the second sector. We haven't got anyone else, so he is the next one to cross the line. And then I believe it is Sidem, so we'll keep on board with these two and see how it goes. Round the final corner, Sidem crosses the line, goes Lippmann goes fifth, sorry, with a 59.8. Sidem, no, miles back. So who's the next one? Where's User? Just coming through the first sector. So looks like Sidem is just ahead of him. So we'll stay on board with Sidem. Nope, looks like he's backed out of his lap. McLaren's invalidated. That was good of the Alpine to move off the line there. Twisted just started his lap. I don't think... Yeah, he's not setting a lap. He's going way too slow currently. So how's Username doing? Not too bad. Some of the fast boys were setting like a 110, 111 through there. So let's see how he does in the final section. He has deployed all of his ERS though, so he's not going to get the benefit of that as he crosses the line and sets a 129.5 to move fourth, just ahead of Machiavelli in the Haas there. Let's see how Twister's doing. Sorry, I've just got my cat staring at me for some strange reason. So, how's Twister going to do for this second sector? Is he going to keep it nice and steady? Does a pretty good job, just keeps it inside the lines there. Comes across the sector at a 1:12.8. Respectable. So, looking at what? 4th, 5th, 6th maybe, depending on how he tackles the chicane there, hugs the inside, crosses the line, and only does a 129.8. Unfortunately, RGB just set a 131.2, 7/10 of a second quicker than our teammate currently. Let's see what King's doing. He's actually invalidated, so he won't be improving on his time. Or even adding a time currently, sorry. Zen does have a qualifying ban, so he will be remaining in the pits today. So people just going around seeing if they can improve on their times, maybe. I've done that. Go away. I know, it was an impressive time by Zazu actually on a 128.6, only 0.6 of a second behind the front two, which is actually really good. Just going to jump on board with Twisted a minute. No, he's not improved, but he is warming up his tyres, so he is going to be going for another run, as I thought he would. Sidem's 5 seconds down on his time. Guessed he's 12. RB's coming in. So let's jump on board with Oh! Twisted loses it coming out of the chicane there. It's so easily done. Oh, there's someone in the background warming his tyres up. King's going very slowly there to let the Aston Martin of Mingo through. So where's Harry? Harry's coming through the final corner, so let's see what he can do on his flying lap. Let's see if he can improve much or at all. The battle between him and Mingo is really hotting up at the top of the table. So it's going to be an interesting race between these two today. They're usually very, very close. Ooh! Was that a little bit of slide there from Harry? We'll see as we go through. Ooh, if it did, it didn't affect him overly much. He's only 0.06 of a second. Oh, and he invalidates his time. So let's jump on board with Mingo. See how well he does. Seems to come through that first sector quite nicely. So can he improve on his time? He is 0.04 of a second quicker than his previous time. Managing to keep it in the lines. So doing a little bit of a lock up there. Does it affect him much though? So we've got a yellow flag in sector 3, but that's on the start-finish straight, so it's not going to affect Mingo at all, which is good. Harry's gone into the pits, and Mingo is a 10th up on his previous time, so he's going to be setting the fastest lap for this session with 6 minutes still remaining, sorry, my apologies. Crossing the line, and he does indeed go fastest with the 127.8. First one into the 127s. So Mingo will be extremely happy with himself there. And let's see how Zazu's doing, because he's now on a flying lap as well. 0.05 of a second slower than his previous time, so still within a shot of being able to improve. He's not a million miles off his time. Hopefully that McLaren doesn't upset his lap. It doesn't indeed. It does move out of the way, which is really good of him. Nice and tidy through that corner. Doesn't take too much to the outside curve, which is not what you want. Hopefully that Haas moves out of the way, because that's not something that Zazu needs right now. Not really the greatest thing for the Haas driver to have done there. Crosses the line, doesn't improve, unfortunately. He's half a second down on his previous time. Mingo's 2 seconds down on his time, so it was Machiavelli. Unfortunately, that was the culprit there in front of Zazu. So let's see how Machiavelli does through Sector 2, unfortunately. King's still not set a lap yet. He's only got, 4 minutes left to do so? So let's see how Machiavelli's doing coming through Sector 2 here. Is he improving? Oh, he's down only by 0.04 of a second. Has he backed out? Yes, he has. Why has he backed out? Says there's a second down in his previous time, so he's not going to be improving any. King coming through the final few corners. Let's see what he can do. Finally setting a time. Does a 1:31.6. So two leaders still in the pits currently. Zazu coming through. Going to jump into the pits. Twisted. Apparently 5 seconds down on his previous time. If the graphics are to be believed. So yeah, he's invalidated his time, unfortunately. Let's see what Major's doing, or Magster, sorry. Oh, ever so slightly so, only 1/100th of a second slower than her previous time. But she's still 10th, so still doing well. We got Ben out on that lap. We got username, Harry. And yes, I thought I saw the Aston Martin starting to move. So we've got 2 minutes left. So just enough time for these two to get a new lap in. Oh, Quaker still hasn't set a lap either. So Quaker's just started up. still warming up his tyres. Okay. So. Oh, Max is 0.6 of a second quicker than the previous time already. Let's see how she does coming through these two corners. See if she can keep that up. Because if it does, it will put her ahead of her teammate, where they're only separated by 0.6 of a second. So she's a 10th down, 10th up. So she could still improve. Hopefully that Ferrari doesn't impede her. Anyway, going really deep into that corner, unfortunately. So she's not going to be improving on her time. So she's going to dip out of this one now. But these are the three I want to watch. So we got Zazu there. Harry's just about to start. And Mingo just between the two of them. So Sesler coming in the background. Not improving on their time. Hopefully that doesn't hold anyone up in the background through the final two corners. So let's see if Harry can improve his time much. Seems to have kept it a bit tidier this time through the first sector, which is really good. He is 0.2 of a second quicker, so he is looking at provisional pole currently. If he can keep on going. So Twisted is staying where he is, Ben's staying, Magster is staying, Sid, King, Dan and Zen are not going to be participating any further in this qualifying. So it is just down to the ones that are on the track, and we will keep up to date as we can. Harry's not doing a bad job coming through Sector 2. Good amount of curve there on the exit. Pedal to the metal, and he is 0.3 of a second up, so he is on course to take provisional pole position. Coming into the final couple of corners, attacking that chicane as much as possible, holding that tight line coming through the final corner, and he does indeed take pole position by 0.2 of a second, and Mingo has invalidated, so Mingo is not going to be able to take it. Mingo's not going to be able to fight it back, so Harry is going to be taking pole position for this race. Oh, Zazu got a little bit out of shape coming through the final corner. Hopefully he is not able to improve. He is 0.8 of a second down. That is the Red Bull of Liminen, who does improve, and he actually goes 5th with a 129.0. So we had some impressive driving there, guys. Yeah, that was great. I felt so sorry for Mingo for invalidating on his lap. But yes, there it is. 0.2 of a second separate Harry and Mingo, who are first and second. Zazu with an impressive qualifying there to be able to get third. Username in 4th. Lipman in 5th. Machiavelli in 6th. Twisted in 7th. Dipper in 8th. Quaker in 9th. Guesty in 10th. 11th is Magster. Sesler is 12th. The two cash fees are RBs, and then the McLaren, and then the Mercedes. I've missed things apparently. Oh, overcast. This is not looking good. Could we be seeing rain? I hope not, because rain here is just an absolute bloody nightmare. Apparently, according to inside sources, it is going to be a dry race today. I think people are actually starting to listen. We'll give it to 55 and then we'll start the race. The longest 60 seconds in the world. It's nice to see people actually waited for a change. This is what we like to see. It allows drivers to be able to select their strategies and the tyres and everything without having to feel rushed. So, formation lap begins. What type of race are we going to have with these two? It's going to be extremely close. I can guarantee that. So, tyre-wise, we only have 3 starting on the mediums. On the hards even. Oh, my God. Oh, first day off after a 6-day stint, it really doesn't work sometimes. But yes, so we've got 3 starting on the hards. Dipper, Guesty, and King. So they're going to be going deeper into the race than all the others in front of them. But however, at the first part, they're going to be a bit slower. Obviously, but yeah. Is Harry and Osmingo going to run off into the distance like they usually do in every race? Is Zazu going to be able to keep up with them and challenge them? How's Dan and Zen going to do? Both Mercedes starting at the back. Only time will tell. I don't know, Blue. We did tag him a few times. I think he's just overslept, which is unfortunate. We were hoping that... And there's your race strategies coming up. We were hoping he'd make it. A lot of us did tag him quite a few times. But yeah, it's unfortunate because he does provide good racing and he is a good racer. So, mediums onto hards, around about lap 13 to 16. If you're doing the 1 pit stop. If you're doing 2, they're suggesting the medium hards. However, if I was to do a 2-stop strategy, I'd go medium, hard, medium personally. But hey. So, and we're about to line up on the grid for the start of this race. 50% race. Going to be dry apparently, according to an inside source on track. As they line up. Oh, one of the Mercedes goes off in the background. Trying to warm his tyres up. I think that was Zen. Could be wrong, could have been Dan. Okay, the final one lines up on the grid. Quaker was the only one that didn't get in his box properly. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go here at Suzuka, and it looks like Mingo and Harry do both get a decent start. A little bit of a slide there from Mingo on the off-take, so bogged down ever so slightly on the start. Zazu getting a great start as well, managing to keep his 3rd position, but was challenged briefly by Username through the first few corners there. Guesty and Sidem having a little bit of a battle back down. Zen has got past his teammate. Down at the back there. And is it Scruffy at all back here? No. Twisted and Machiavelli exchanging positions. Zen managing to get past King there. So he's on a flying start already. We have a yellow flag already. And it's a Ferrari, an Aston Martin, and a Kick Sauber all round. No, that is Mingo all the way down into 14th. Not quite sure what happened there. Dan has indeed held up and waited for both of them. With it not being his fault, I don't think he quite needed to do that, but Dan is a sporting type like that. Zazu being challenged by Lippmann here. Lippmann having a great exit out of those two corners. Tucks in behind the Alpine there. Heading down towards 130R. The Williams of Twisted just tucks in behind the Alpine. Not going to take the dive up the inside, because everyone knows that's quite dangerous. And Zazu getting all out of sorts there and taking Lippmann with him. That is not good. We are having all sorts of things here happening. And Zazu is literally going to get swallowed up here by a lot of people, his teammate being one of them. So all sorts of things are happening during the first lap here. And Harry is away. Looks like Mingo has come in for a pit. And he's had to have a front wing change. And Guesty is all the way down there as well. So Harry is now so well in the lead here. Twisted teammates, his teammates currently up into second, and we're getting more stuff going on here. What on earth is happening? Magster's gone off through the corners. Wonder if she's gone just a little bit wide there. Easily done through there. Dan is now up to 11th. Zen up into 8th, and that was a bit of a wing gone missing there. I'm not sure whose it was. Looks like it's the Ferraris. Yes, it is. Front wing end plate on the Ferrari gone. So that's going to hinder him greatly around here. He's going to have all sorts of issues through a lot of the corners. But we have got some racing going on here, guys, up and down the grid. Obviously, Harry is just gone. I'm not even going to worry about him at the moment. Twisted is pulling away from Quaker as well. Quaker has got Machiavelli and Zazu and Bin all in close proximity. Zen and King having a bit of a battle here down into 130R. Harry setting the fastest lap on a 130.001. So he is flying into the distance now. As you can see, he's already 6 seconds ahead of his teammate. Quaker falling behind. Twisted there. Lippmann 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That sucks like mad when that happens. So Machiavelli up into third in the Haas there. So he's having a great start to this race. Quaker's not doing bad at all. He's up into fourth. Zazu having a miserable start with the first lap. Half spin into the final chicane. So how are we doing? So two Mercedes up into 8th and 9th respectively. And they are chasing down King right now. You got the Mercedes, the McLaren and the Ferrari. Having a good old scrap there. Wondering how long it is before Schesler. Oh, could this be it for Schesler? No. The Ferrari getting a better exit and better traction out of that hairpin there. So even with front wing damage, the Ferrari's not doing too bad. However, he has lost some traction there going down towards 130R. That's allowed the McLaren up the inside. Is Schedule going to make a keep it? Yes. I thought the Ferrari was going to make a last attempt ditch into the hairpin there. Now it's just like a DRS train running down into turn one with all these guys. Sid also gets past the Ferrari. The Ferrari is now in. He's going to be changing his front wing. Mingo is still down in 15th. And he's going to be overtaking... Whoa! Mingo lost it ever so slightly there. So wheels on the grass. He is not having a good time here. This is going to put some dent into his title challenge with Harry. So Machiavelli, Quaker getting a little out of sorts. That's going to allow his teammate to have a look up the inside just before the hairpin. Is Zazu going to get the better traction? No, he's not. Either that or he's just eased off ever so slightly, so he's not actually hounding his teammate too much. Whichever way you look at it is both good. Oh, that Haas looking up the inside doesn't get alongside enough to be able to keep his car there. So this is the battle we're going to be watching for some time. We got 5th down to 9th, all in a battle here. It's literally going to be a DRS train. Is that... Oh! So the Alpines together. Zazu getting a 3-second penalty there for jumping the... Oh! That's kind of on dippers there. So Zazu going to overtake his teammates, going to pull King along with him. And that looks like the Mercedes of Zen has also got up the inside. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe a touch of wheels together, which just upset the balance of the Mercedes there, which is highly unfortunate, which has promoted Dan up into 7th currently. I thought I just saw another car around then, but I didn't. So Dan not doing too bad here after starting second to last. He's up to 8th. And King and Zazu exchanging positions there. Oh, that... RB got a little bit wide there going into those corners. One thing I am missing though, that. So Zazu's lost a few positions compared to where he actually started. King also getting a 3-second penalty now as well. But Zazu is going to be getting DRS. Dan is going to be getting down the inside of Quake here on the start-finish straight, tucking in the front nice and neatly there. So Dan is having an excellent start to this first phase of the race. Sid is in the pits. Going to be changing tyres, maybe a front wing as well. Zen is catching up to the back of these quite rapidly, so that's good. Means his little house spin didn't affect him too badly. So this battle starts from 4th and goes all the way down to 9th, and Bin just dipped it. Going into the through the final corner there. Jidan, up the inside of Zazu there through the hairpin. Is he going to be able to keep enough traction and speed to be able to take him around the outside? Side by side through this sector. It means Dan's going to get the inside to the next 2 corners, and he's going to get it done. Zazu running ever so slightly wide though. I think maybe the McLaren upset him being on the inside. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but Dan getting up into 5th now. And he's going to be trying to hunt down King as fast as possible, because the one thing he doesn't want is to be a sitting duck with these guys behind him with DRS, especially on the run down to the first corner, because Zazu's time is just going to tick down ever so quickly. But Dan, quite lucky that the straight isn't any longer than it is, because I think he would have been caught by the pair of them, but he is catching King quite rapidly here. And Zen ever so close to the back of Quaker there. Ooh, the Alpines getting ever so close together through those 2 corners there. Almost as though Quaker's trying to push his teammate along. Oh, and Quaker bins it and puts it into the wall. I have a funny feeling that's going to be some of his wing gone. Yes, it is. That's highly unfortunate for him. He was having such a good race for his teammate there. Now it's just going to put Zazu under pressure from Zen there. Dan has managed to pull a second gap on the Alpine of Zazu there, but he's also lost ground to King here. He needs to get within that second gap before that line just there. And he didn't get it done. Zazu, however, is going to get the DRS from Dan, which is going to be able to keep him just ahead of... Or did he? Or did he? No, he didn't. He didn't get the DRS from Dan. So Dan is great coming through this first sector, but I think he just loses time through the third sector to the RB that's ahead of him. I think the pressure of that Mercedes hunting down King is just putting him off ever so slightly. He does seem to be making a few mistakes going through that sector. Quaker now in the pits. Obviously, he's going to be replacing his front wing, and Dan is ever so much closer now. So, yeah, I have a funny feeling he can feel that Mercedes breathing down his neck. It's just putting a little bit of pressure on him, causing him to make a few more mistakes than he'd like going through corners. So he's got 22%. He's got 62%. Oh, dang it. It's slightly out of shape there going into the first double left-hander. He's going to make him lose ground. But he is using his ERS just to close that gap ever so slightly. And is that Zen going to be making the move on Zazu there? It is indeed. Zen is going to be getting that move down into 130R. And Zazu having another look back, but doesn't get it done. So Dan with the DRS wide open. Is he going to be able to pull King in? No, he's not. He's going to have to wait another lap. Zen and Zazu are having a little battle here now. It's really good back and forth. If I was Zen, I personally would have waited until that start-finish straight as well, because then it would have at least... he would have had the DRS. I think Machiavelli's had a problem, because these two are catching him rapidly. So third, fourth and fifth all within a second of each other. So it's going to be a good little battle very, very shortly. Sid with a 3-second penalty there for track infringement. So Dan is slipped outside of the second mark. He's going to get it back. Just using enough ERS, but not too much. So yeah, Dan's going to be able to keep the DRS. So what Zen needs to do is just wait. That's it. Get a good drive out of the final two corners. Floor it. And there you go. So he should get the move done down into turn one. And there you go. Perfect. Didn't expect anything else. So yeah, Zen is now up into 6th after having started last because of a qualifying ban, unfortunately, for an incident that happened a few weeks ago, but he is doing very, very well right now. King has managed to get past Machiavelli. So now it's Dan's turn to be able to keep that pressure going. But Twisted and Harry are just gone into the distance, having a race of their own. Hopefully trying to claim as many points as possible for the Williams team. And here is Mingo. We have unfortunately left him out a bit today because, yes, he had a bit of an incident earlier on, but he's not doing too bad. He's up into 10th. And with the guys around him, they're going to be pitting soon. He could still make up a few positions and close that deficit that's going to happen between him and Harry, unfortunately, which I didn't get all of it, but I'm sure I'll see some of it in a bit. So Machiavelli's got basically no ERS left. Down the inside of him. Gets it done nice and easily. So he's now back onto the rear wing of King there. And his teammates a few seconds behind still. But he's managed to pull a 1.5-second gap on Zazu there. So he's safe from any DRS threat in that. So Dan managing to keep that gap as little as possible between him. Ooh, little bit of a twitch there from Dan. That's not going to help him whatsoever. Zen slipping behind Bin within the second of Sesler here, but Mingo has closed in nearly 2 seconds already in the space of a lap to Bin here. So in fact over 2 seconds now. Oh, looks like King may have made a little bit of a mistake coming through 130R. That is going to allow Dan to be able to hunt him down. Going to get the DRS. And see how this goes down towards the first corner. Zen's in the pits already, so he's going to be changing onto the hards for the remainder of the race. And as you can see, that was nice and easy for Dan there. So he is now up into third after starting second to last. That's a pretty good race there from Dan so far. King is not showing too much patience whilst being behind the Mercedes there. He doesn't seem to have liked the fact that Dan managed to get that move done as easily as he did. As long as he doesn't make any silly moves, he'll be okay. Dan taking the slightly wider line to get the better traction coming out of the hairpin there. And here they go down towards 130R. I apologise. So let's jump on board with King here and then see how it goes down towards turn 1. So yeah, he's close enough to be able to get the move done. So basically carbon copy of what Dan done to him. Down into turn 1. And Machiavelli's pitted. So there's going to leave these two out on their own for a bit. Let's see how much longer Dan can go before he pits. I wonder if he's actually going to pit this lap. Because it seems that all the medium runners, apart from the 5 in the top 6 here, have all pitted. So 12 laps on the mediums isn't too bad, to be honest. But Harry and Twisted driving a solid race out in first and second. So Shezler also gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. So easily done around here, unfortunately. Especially during that first sector. So Ben receiving a 3-second penalty as well. Shezler has dropped rapidly. Oh, Mingo is now up into 7th. Having a great race. So Twisted jumped into the pits. Dan is going to give it another lap. Mingo getting past Dipper there quite easily. So this is going to really help his race. He's driving, as always, exceptional. Recovering from his earlier misfortune. So, 10-second pit lane speeding penalty for Schesler. Dan did, in fact, get past King there as well. Now, which we did miss. So, Zazu and Schesler are in the pits. So, we just have two people now on the medium tyres who are going quite deep into the race with them, actually. So I wonder if Harry's going to pit this time round, because he's just coming through the final chicane. Yes, so he does. Harry goes into the pit. So I wonder if Dan will do the same thing here, which will release King for a little bit. And he does indeed. I thought he would. No! What are you doing, Dan? So this is going to allow Twisted to get back past Dan? It does. So King is going to do the final 13 laps on the mediums, which is going to give him overall speed compared to some of the ones in front of him, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him up close enough to the, front three, because Mingo's now third. Excellent recovery from him. So Ben is now in the pits as well. Ooh. So yellow flag in sector 1. That looks like it is not Quaker. It was Zazu that was in a bit of it. Zazu has no front wing. Zazu has no front wing. He is having a horrid race after qualifying third, which is really, really unfortunate for him because he was having such a good day to start with. I get worried when people get that close through that. Whoa! Dipper with a 10-second penalty. Also speeding in the pit lane. But King is finding that those medium tyres just are not as quick as he thought they were. He's not able to get past Dan as easily as he may have thought he would. Having raced Dan a few times in the past, I know how hard it is to get past him, actually. And King not showing any patience. Oh, Zazu has retired in the pits, which is really unfortunate for him. After having such a good start to the race, he has unfortunately retired, which does indeed suck. But King is not showing any patience here, and you really need to. Wait for the opportune moment. Don't force it. So Harry is well into the distance here. Twisted with Mingo, Dan and King very closely behind. Wondering if the age of the tyres for Mingo is causing him a little bit of an issue, because these two, just without any problems, just sailed past him. So I'm wondering if being on those tyres for 15 laps actually is not going to be any help. So Zen's not having a bad day either. He's currently in 7th. Not making up much ground to Machiavelli though. In fact, if anything, losing it ever so slightly. Yeah, I have a funny feeling those tyres of Mingo are starting to go off. Harry setting the fastest lap on a 1:30.6. King getting that dive down into the inside done, but it does also give him DRS because he had it done before the line. So Mingo also getting DRS as well. He's down as kind of a sitting duck between the two of them. But Zen is now closing that gap between him and Machiavelli though. So 15 of the 16 races still going, of the ones we started with, which is actually quite good. Penalty wise, no, wrong one. So King has 3, Dan has 10, Lipman has 10, Dipper has 10, Shesler has 13. Wow. Ben and Sid both have 3. So these guys are catching Twisted, so he doesn't seem to be suiting those hard tyres all that well. Interested to see what Mingo does. Does he go into the pits? No, he doesn't. Okay. I didn't know if he was going to make a sudden dive in there and go the final, 7 laps on the mediums and see if he can catch these guys again. But thinking about it, the amount of time you can lose in the pit lane is potentially not worth it. So yeah, that highly sucks for him. Why have I got no sound? I don't know. So sector 3, yellow flag. Dipper with a 3-second penalty, another one. I'm not sure why there was a yellow flag there. Sid with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Holy hell, everyone seems to be getting that. Oh no, Mingo with a 3-second penalty. Sid M is also retired in the pits as well now. After having a really, really bad race. What appears to be a bad race anyway. Obviously I've been concentrating on certain groups because that's where the fighting has been. So Dan getting ever so closer, and Mingo really close behind as well. So if Mingo can get the really good run out of the final turn. Dan closing. Alongside enough, gets it done into turn 1 and 2. What a overtake move that was. And that retiring car just caused problems for everyone there. So second place is really under attack here from these guys. Twisted not having a good time on those hard tyres, is he? So the battle is from second to fifth. This is interesting. Seven laps to go. Second, third, fourth, and fifth, all within a second of each other. This could be interesting. Okay. Through the final chicane, Twisted is not having a good time with those tyres. You can see that coming out of the final chicane. Holding the inside line, Dan goes round the outside, King on the inside. Oh, a little bit of a touch there from King on Twisted. Didn't need to come back across the track like that. I do not like that view. So, Dan up in the second with 6 laps to go. Can he keep second position? That would be the drive of the day for me. Second to last, 2 second. I've got the wrong window up. That's what I want. So Mingo not... Oh! Oh! King getting all out of sorts through that corner. Going to allow Twisted down the inside of him into 130R. It does indeed. Twisted holding the middle of the track so he doesn't make the dive. So that's just allowed Dan to pull away. He's now got a second gap between him and third place. Twisted holding the middle of the track, making sure that he doesn't sneak down the inside, but goes around the outside anyway. So now, let's see how it goes. Five laps remaining. Dan needs, I think it's 7 seconds. Yes, he needs 7 seconds between him and King. And the way it's going, it's not working. Dan is going to be losing a few positions here. With his 10-second penalty there. Oh no! Twisted lost it going through the double left-hander. Having a torrid time there, bless him. After having such a good first part of the race, as soon as he went onto those hards, his race seems to have fallen away. But Dan is closing on Harry here. No! Dan had a bit of a slide there, which has allowed King to close in a couple of tenths. Mingo's still sitting in fourth on those 21 lap old tyres. So actually he's doing quite well considering the age of them. So username comes into the pits. Is that for a new wing? Zen is closing in on Machiavelli here. So he could make another position yet. These two are pulling away from Mingo. But it looks like... Yeah, Dan's got the better amount of VRS. So he's got a good amount of that to be able to keep ahead. He's got like 90% and King's got like 25. So it's in the favour of Dan here. So we've got 4 laps left. Dan could be losing, will be losing out to these two as it stands. He would also be losing out to Twisted and King with a further 3 seconds. So King now has 6-second penalty. He's also going to be losing out as well. So RB now up into 11th. Looks like Ben and Sesler had a bit of an incident. Oh, safety car! There is a safety car. What happened? Zen is out. Zen is out. What happened? So safety car is going to be out for 1 lap. These guys need to get into the pits. Not quite sure what happened to Zen. I know he was closing in on Machiavelli and then nothing. So username Lippman and Dipper all gone on to softs. Twisted with the drive-through penalty under the safety car. Sorry if that was too loud. My head rested on the mic because that was just highly unfortunate. So Dan can finally, potentially, get rid of these tyres. Yes. So Harry comes in. Guarantee he'll pit for softs. Dan comes in. What on earth is King doing? Whoa. That's a hell of a drift there, mate. Well done. So Twisted doesn't pit. Machiavelli doesn't pit. I think Dan loses his 10-second penalty as well now. So, as long as these guys can catch up with the group ahead. Quaker Oat, 10 seconds for ignoring the yellow flag. Not quite sure why that is. Disqualified for ignoring the yellow flag. What on earth happened? So Quaker is now disqualified for whatever reason that is. So King is just going to be eaten up now by Harry. Schesler, a further 10-second penalty. God, how many has he got now? 23 seconds. So we got Mingo, Dan, username. Lipman, Bin, and Guesty. All on soft tyres. Is Dan going to get to the back of this lot before the safety car comes in? He is indeed. And Dan has indeed lost his 10-second penalty. So, this is going to be interesting from this lot. Is username going to get to the back of this before the safety car buggers off? Quite potentially. Because it wasn't going to be out for any longer than this lap. I'm surprised it was called out, to be honest, and not a virtual safety car. So King's gone. Harry's very close behind. So let's jump on board with Twisted. He's in kind of the middle of the group. So Harry, closing. Didn't quite get it done first time round, so he's going to get it done on the next side. That's a guarantee. Twister's fallen behind already. Mingo. Machiavelli down the inside of Dan there. How did Machiavelli get that close? Oh! So Machiavelli did have a bit of a slide there. So Mingo is going to be going round the outside of Twisted there. That's highly unfortunate. Twisted getting a 3-second penalty for corner cutting and completely misses Dan, thankfully. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's just jump on board with Harry here a second. Get a much better drive through those corners than what King is. So there it is. Oh, Harry backs out of it, coming down to 130R. So DRS won't start until they cross the line. So let's jump ball. Harry throws all his DRS on. Nice and easy down the inside it goes. Harry back up in the first. Mingo and King having a battle there. It looks like Dan is right on the tail of it as well. So King is going to be losing out to 4th and 5th at the way it goes, because he does have a 3-second penalty, I believe. 6-second penalty. So yeah, he's going to massively lose out. Just waiting for Mingo to make that move, and there it is. But King just closed the door mid-corner. Room has to be left, people. So Harry coming through down towards 130R for the very final time. Mingo down the inside of King there. So Harry, driven a flawless race, comes across the line to take the victory. Mingo in 2nd, King in 3rd, and Dan in 4th on the track. However, it does finish off Harry first, Dan in 2nd. Mingo in 3rd after a 3-second penalty. Username gets up into 4th. Machiavelli gets up into 5th. King down into 6th after receiving a 6-second penalty. Twisted after getting an unserved penalty under the safety car will drop dramatically. Littman getting up into 7th. Dipper 8th. Magster into 9th. I think, yes, it is going to be the case that Twisted is going to keep 10th. Ben coming through to take 10th. And then Shezza being the final across the line today to take 12th. So 12 out of 16 drivers crossing the line for the final time. So, there we have it, guys. Harry taking top position after a flawless race there from him. G-Dan taking 2nd after starting 2nd to last. So, great result for him. Mingo, after not quite sure what happened to him, unfortunately. But being dropped down, having to change his wing, he does indeed finish 3rd. So, the deficit between him and Harry is quite not quite so big, which is really good. Username getting into fourth, Machiavelli, King, Lippmann, Dipper, Magster, Twisted, Ben, and Shesler. All our finishers. And then you've got Quaker, Zen, Sid, and Zazu. All as our DNFers for today. But yes, it was a very interesting race. So yeah, it's interesting race. And as usual, Harry or Mingo towards the top. And then the safety car in the last few laps really threw the spanner into the works. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week at... Where are we next week? Bahrain. One of my favourite tracks. So yes, join us next week. Same time, same place. And it will either be myself or Dan here. One or the other. Depends on what happens. If I might race again. I don't know. But again, thank you for joining me, guys. It has been a pleasure as always. I will see you same time, same place next week, whether I'm in a seat or in the box. Until then, guys, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you soon. Ciao.